results, they have a higher level of belief, and that cycle continues to have that person climb. It's a small difference, but instead of starting where you're at, you're starting with where you could go. That's the key with vision, is that you have to kind of see yourself as you could be. The next thing, and this is where things get a little less fluffy, is you have to take full ownership. My friends, we've got to stop blaming people. We've got to stop playing the blame game on anything in your life that is something that you feel you've created a story around why it happened to you or what's holding you back or why you're not further along in your journey. If it incorporates anyone else, you have to take back responsibility. You have to. Because I had this awesome story. It was so convincing, y'all. Alcoholic parents, and I never had anybody who believed in me. And then I got in this business, and I had no upline. And then I had all these things. Nothing was working for me. It was an awesome story, and guess what? I know there are some of you out here, your stories are so intense, and they're so valid. Please don't be thinking I'm different, and she doesn't know my story. My story's way worse. No, listen, your story is so valid, and anyone who heard mine would have been like, I totally understand why you would have quit. I would have quit too, oh my gosh. Unfortunately, we get our stories justified, but we still give up our dream. And I don't want that for you. Your story can be used. This is the beautiful part about it, is that my story is the reason why I'm up here. If I would have told you guys, I had the best upline, she did everything for me, I would never had any adversity in my life, you'd be like, stupid Barbie, get off the stage. It's going to be used for something great. And so the more responsibility we can take, and the more ownership we can take, the faster we can move forward towards it. Asking yourself, what is this here to teach me? And how can I use this to then inspire someone else? It's the key to your success, guys. Team vision. So once I moved past taking ownership of my own Beachbody journey and my own circumstances, I had to ask myself, okay, how do I then get a team on board? How do I get people to join me? How do I become a leader when I never had one? Never had a role model. I was just talking to somebody back there, and she said, I used to stalk all your YouTube videos because I didn't have a leader. Somebody taking ownership, how incredible. They decided to run with it. So I started to think, if I didn't have a leader, how do I become the kind of leader I wished I would have had? The same way that I would do with my parents and say, how do I become a great mother? I do the things that I wish my mom would have done. I show up the way that I needed her to show up. You're gonna do the same. How many of you guys don't have an active upline? And you did it anyway. You're proof. You're proof that it's possible. You've actively become the person that you needed to have for your team. Why are we laughing? Is it that bad? I started to think of all the things that when I watched Platinum Presenters shout out, how I wished I had a culture like that. How I wished there was this community that I was a part of. And so I said, I'm gonna create that. I'm gonna become that leader for my team. Y'all remember the avatar? Does anybody still do the avatar thing? Redesigning your dream customer? This is something that I don't know if it went away, but it shouldn't. Because I really believe that we have to clearly define who we're looking to attract. I designed my perfect person, and then I became her. Then I grew into her. And until we do, we will attract all our worst qualities. Has anybody attracted like the most annoying things about yourself ever with coaches? And you're like, oh, it's like the worst part about this business. All your annoying habits are gonna come right smack dab in your face until you beat them in this business. So the only thing, again, that you have control of is yourself. And so if you're attracting that person, don't be like, why am I attracting this person? It's you! You're the reason! It's in you. Somewhere in there, you are calling out that person. So work on yourself to become that dream coach, and I promise you, you will attract them. I look around at the tribe we have now, and some of these leaders, I'm like, oh my gosh, I did not know these people and I didn't know all the right steps. I literally just actively personified the best version of myself, and it drew in those people. The next thing is I really wanted to clearly define the kind of culture I wanted to have. The who. Who were we? As a tribe, what were our key characteristics? What were our values? All too often, people focus too much on finding common ground with people, and they shy away from things like faith or something that might extradite some people. For me, I want core values. If I'm in this for the long term, which is what this group is focused on, we are in it for long term. I want to be around people who have the same values as me, because then we can go deep. We're not surface level. We have the same things at our core. And so I would highly recommend that you define the kind of culture you want through values that are most important to you, the things that you are unwilling to compromise. The what. What do you have to do consistently for your team to create an awesome culture? What do you do? The how. How do you help people? If you guys go away as your team, what's this world lacking? And then the why. Why do you do it? What's it all for? Why is it important that you continue? 3 things, and just to give you examples of our culture, 3 of the things that were the staples for us as we were building were these 3 things that I believed were like default settings in human beings. They're the things that come most natural. 1 is our response to problems. We're reactive, we want to find blame, and we freak out. I did not want that for my team. I knew that problems were going to arise. I knew valleys were going to happen. And so from the very beginning, we said we are a team that is proactive. We're a team that knows that challenges are there to grow us. And so during team calls, before problems were ever arose, we would always talk about we are a proactive team that faces challenges head on and looks for the lesson that they're there to teach us, and also looks for where we have the potential to take control and make changes. When things are happening in Beachbody, we are still little rivers looking for the ways that we can control what's going on. The next thing, we're rivers, not reservoirs. We all do the same thing as coaches, but we do it in a multitude of different ways. We all have different stories, we speak to different people. And I did not want this to be a competitive battlefield where we're all trying to vie for attention, holding back our gifts. Each of us have unique skills and talents and things we bring to the table, and I wanted them to know that there were more than enough people out there, and that if we shared our gifts, the cohesive success of our team was gonna be lifted. When the tides rise, all ships rise with it. That's not just my team, that's all the Beachbody. The more we hold back our gifts, the more stagnant and stale this company becomes. One of the things I have loved this year, specifically, is all of the leaders starting to share all best practices, all of us working together in different groups and pods and being able to bless each other. How cool. And nobody's felt like, oh my gosh, we're running out of people. We are not running out of people. There's millions of people that need our help, that need your specific story. So we became rivers, not reservoirs. Reservoirs hold water and fear that there's going to be lack. A river flows freely and just gives. The next thing was we were taking ownership. We were not in the business of having a hobby. Sure, I have discount coaches, and they are, but they're not anticipating a paycheck. Anyone in our business that expected to have any type of paycheck, whether they were super part-time or they were full-time, they understood that this was their business. Maybe this is me not having an upline, that I'm a little more harsh with that, but I really feel like the moment you take ownership, that's when you flourish, that's when you rise up and become the leader that attracts a team that will be super successful. Enrolling your team in the vision. So how many of you guys are guilty of having this big goal, but you don't share it with your team because you're a little bit fearful if they found out they would think you're selfish?
Yeah.
Anybody? I don't believe this to be true. I really believe, looking back at my journey, we were in it together. I let them know I had huge goals, but I let them know why. Not only about my daughter and my own family, but that I believed we were going to set the pace for the rest of the company. I believed that I was going to be in the front, in the trenches with them, whacking down the bush to be able to cut the path for them to follow. The whole goal, all along, was we were in this together, and we're not thinking about ourselves, we're thinking about the people that are coming in after us, and how can we make it a little bit easier for them. And so I was always sharing that bigger vision with them of what our team could do. I was always talking about the potential of us cohesively as a unit. This was my very first huge, audacious goal. Crazy enough, when you look around this Beachbody community now, to think in 2013, there had never been a female top coach. Now, once we get it, we hold it, but it had never been done. And our little baby team that started with just little old me became this tribe that was fighting for that goal together. And I would speak the vision over the team and say, this is not about me. This is about us and what we can make possible together. This team of little orphan Annies that are gonna grow together, that are gonna cut the path, that are gonna be on that stage, confetti raining down, knowing all the while our journey was just beginning. There were people out there that didn't even know of Beachbody yet, that were gonna join the team and be blessed by the work that we had done that year as we climbed towards that goal. I would share that vision with them, we would visualize it, we'd feel the confetti, and then in the moment, when you're up there, experiencing it together, knowing you made the impossible possible because you had the courage to set audacious goals. Guys, you guys are the leaders. Your vision, your dream has to be so big that everyone else's dream from your team fits in it. So some of you need to level up and stop being scared, because there is something in you that is dying to get out. Do you feel that? It's like this, it's right here, right? It's like right here, and it like rumbles. It's dying to get out. You just gotta be brave enough to let it out. This is my favorite. I like that picture too, but it's my favorite part of this speech. I want to end this thing by saying this. I walked you through the funeral activity, envisioning what the people here on earth will think, will feel about you, how you impacted their life come the end of your life, and how that can create clarity that you'll never understand. However, I do believe that even beyond that, the way that I have kept myself hungry for more, the way that I respond with that little thing that sits in me and just vibrates like crazy, is I envision beyond the funeral to the moment when I'm walking through the golden gates and I meet my Creator and he says, "Well done, good and faithful servant." And I know as my Creator, he knows everything that I was capable of. Every single opportunity that I had, all that was put in me. And I also envision that he's created a twin that he now introduces me to. And this twin, it's everything. This twin, she has achieved and become everything and used every gift that was put inside of her. And the nightmare is that I meet her and we don't even look anything alike. And I realized all the ways that I held myself back, and the people's opinions that I feared, and the gifts that went unused, and the songs that went unsung. The dream, though, and the ultimate vision is that I meet her and we're identical. I know in that moment, meeting her, that I left no song unsung, that I gave it everything that I had. And I know that every single person in here has that in them. There is this twin waiting for you on the other side. And I know if you have that vibration, you know you're not capped out yet. So I don't want you to just leave Summit and become a better coach, because that's awesome. We bleed blue. If you're in this room, you have been through way too much to leave now, right? You bleed blue. But bigger than Beachbody, you have this great calling on your life, and there are people that their lives won't be changed unless you're brave enough to live up to that calling that is vibrating inside of you. So I hope you leave here and you become all that God has called you to become. You're here for a purpose. You got so much more in you. And I want to challenge you to bring it out. Because like they've said a bazillion times today, you really are. You really are made for more. I'm proud to be in this with you guys. Thank you so much.
Let's hear it from Lindsay, Matway.